All right, guys, so just a couple little quirky things I want to point out before I let you loose. Um, Going back to the code down here and just thinking through some of the things I think some of you will probably want to change. The first one being probably the font, okay? If you look in your CSS here, you've got body and all of the fonts are controlled here with this font family style. You're going to see a list of different fonts listed. And the thought here is that it basically gives the browser options. If it's not able to find a particular font, it starts with the one that was your preference. It's going to run through these additional options. Good thing to do is to use one that is really super typical. Think about, the fonts that you typically find in any sort of program, whether you're in Microsoft Word, if you're using a WYSIWYG on like Blackboard, something like Verdana is almost always there. And then it ends with basically, at the end of the day, if none of these are available, I really just want to make sure I have a sans serif displayed, okay? And so just to help you with that, again, remember if you use W3 Schools, there is information here on that. There are some other sort of styles here that you might want to just kind of copy and paste in if you want to try something different. But this is a really good place to do some of that research if you know that you want to use a different style of fonts, okay? I don't think I can say fonts anymore. I feel like I said font through that, okay? The next thing that I want to point out that's probably going to look a little bit strange is that you're going to see pixels, okay? That's expected. So when you're adding a little bit of margin or padding, yep, you expect pixels. You're going to come down here to where you see name-div, and you're going to see font size 4VW, okay? So remember, PX is pixels, VW is view. And this is something that's happening in responsive design. When you're designing something that you maybe initially are designing for a website, so you're thinking, okay, I expect them to use this on a computer. Yep, they might use it on a mobile device, and as you start running through all of the different places this might get displayed, you are going to plan for your website to be responsive so it can be sized down to a variety of different screen sizes and still look exactly the way you expect. So for the name here, okay, this is being applied to the title here. It is assigned 4, and it's going to basically maintain those proportions, for lack of a better way of explaining this. So again, when it goes to a mobile device, okay, it's going to try to maintain those proportions in the space that is available to it, okay? I really don't know that I can explain that any better, but I just want to make sure that when you see that 4VW, you don't try to change that to pixels thinking that that was typed in incorrectly. Obviously, 4 pixels or 4 points there is going to be super, super small, okay? The only other thing that I really wanted to make sure I pointed out to you is that you are going to, obviously you're going to be changing these images, okay? And you may get to a point where maybe you're trying to fiddle with the size of the image. What I want you to pay attention to, first off, is that you are limited to the width here. If you try to change this and make this wider, it's going to impact everything beneath it, okay? The width is set really consistent from top to bottom, so try to work within this. And you're going to find, just looking at some of these in the CSS, that they're basically controlled by the width. You're going to see your main dash image. Width is set to 100%, 100% being this body area, and the height is set to auto. And if you think back to our days in Photoshop, if you were to change the width of a picture, you didn't want to go in and also plug in a number for the height. You wanted it to constrain the proportions. And as you change the width, the height number just automatically changed for you. So you're going to see here, height is set to auto, okay? So again, things that I just want you to be aware of as you start playing with this. Okay, I don't want anything to be a huge surprise and to get super messy in the throes of it. Just with the expectation that that is possible, because again, I really do want you guys to just explore and experiment. you don't break it. It's absolutely fine. But what I would urge you to do is to duplicate this document and go ahead and keep one template.vcu and go ahead and make another one template-vcu1. Okay, and that way you've got that sort of thing in your back pocket. If you really royally screw this whole thing up, you've got something that you can go back to. Okay, and of course you can also save in the middle. So if you get about halfway through and you feel like this is looking really great, go ahead and save it. Give it another name. Go ahead and break it, and then you've got something, at the halfway mark that you can go back and fiddle with and keep working on. All right, I'm going to stop there. Okay. Again, this is the assignment for your discussion board on Tuesday. And please just hit me up with any questions that you might have on this. And by God, please make sure that you add Dreamweaver and HTML to your resume.